Free Comic Book Day is May 6th. You guys know this. You've got it on your calendar. I have talked ad nauseum about it. But you guys are here to meet Eric. We'll talk to him in a second. We would like to welcome Eric back, I should say, to Empires. Go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell them a little bit about you.
Okay, my name is Eric, and I've been doing this for a while. The first book you probably, if you guys know me at all, the first book I've done was Strange Girl from Image Comics, and that's actually, even though it's my first book, it's probably my favorite book. My work,
interesting. Out of all the stuff
out
you've
of
done,
all the
Strange
stuff,
Girl. Okay.
Strange Girl, because there's
We'll
no
come back to
there's no editors. There's you do what you like, and that's how it ends up. There's no edits. There's no redos. It's just it is what it is. And when you guys look at what I've been doing now versus then, is changes so much. So, but the stuff I've been working on lately is old man Logan here, and so that's what I'm hoping to sort of show you guys at Free Comic Book Day. I'll have some stuff that haven't come out yet. I'll print some stuff out so you guys can see, especially the stuff with Hulk and some of the past cool stuff that's in the upcoming issues that haven't been.
They're not going to understand what that means for the most part because it just came out this week. But what he's talking about is, you'll notice the cover has Wolverine in a classic costume.
Yeah.
And by past, I assume you mean the fact that Wolverine's traveling through time. And he is hitting up all these great moments. At the beginning of this one, we go back to him as a young man fighting the British in Canada, and it ends with him fighting Hulk for the very first time with Wendigo.
Yeah, and the following issue, we hit on a couple of cool shots of when Wolverine first meets Hulk and
you get to draw a bunch of I love the way they ended it though, because he's right back in that moment. He's possessing his own body at those moments. So it's not old man Logan, it is him in a young Wolverine's body. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because I love some of the classic stuff. Are we going to get Patch?
We are. Okay, I mean, the great thing I never had a distinct drawing of Wolverine, but when I got this assignment, it's fantastic because I can go through variations because he skips to so many different point of time that he changes anyway. So I get to explore how to draw him differently,
which is kind of fun too, because I imagine as an artist, to draw something different every couple pages, because this one moves really quick. So this one, guys, is available now. It just came out. It's going to be the only one available before Free Comic Book Day, but it's a 4-issue run. Eric working with one of my personal favorites, Jeff Lemire. I talk about him all the time on the videos. We love you, Jeff. What is it like working with Jeff?
Oh, Jeff is...
Don't ruin it for me.
Well, no, Jeff is great. He's actually one of the... the way he writes a script is the way I like to do them, where they're pretty open and they're not dense, or they're not too dense, where a writer's telling me what angle to take, how to pace something, or he leaves it open. I read the dialogue. I know what he's hoping. At least I know what he's trying to go for, and it allows me to add or subtract panels when I need to, and it's just great.
That's got to be extremely useful, because I imagine when you've got a really tight script, it takes a lot of the creativity away from it, because they're like looking upward, from his waist, up. It sounds like it would be extremely boring.
No offense to all you. The tight scripts are great too. When I did Salmon Mystery Theater, Johnny Reiber, who is a fantastic writer, his scripts were almost 50 pages, almost 50, 75 pages. They were dense, but the way he's writing it is more like information for me, not dictating to me on how to draw.
Gotcha. There's the important difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's literally setting the full scene.
He's pretty much writing like a novel. It was so much, but they were fun to read because they give me small nuances to consider when I lay out a page. But it's not like, okay, you have to do it from a high angle or low angle or anything. It just tells me what the story and what the guys are thinking, and I do it. And he was so detailed that it just, it was fun. It took a little bit more time because you're trying to process all that, but it's freedom. It's not so strict as far as other writers who tell you to, do this, do that, do that, and sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you gotta give a little leeway there, make it a little fun for the artist guys.
So all you aspiring artists out there, it's not. It really isn't all splashes all the time. It's you have to pace things out. You have to draw things that you don't like.
So you're telling me as a writer, you don't want me to give you the script and then a thumbnail to go with it?
No, that makes when I get.
Have you actually had that happen? We won't call anybody out, but
I can't say because some
okay, all right,
do, some don't.
It's never happened. We're gonna leave it at that. It's never.
But I've had scripts that makes it harder.
Okay, that is fair.
It makes it harder when they want. Having one panel a certain way is fine, but having pages a certain way, that makes it hard.
Okay, that's fair, and I like the fact that Lemire is flexible. If you have something to contribute, even you mentioned even as much as adding a panel, he's open to it if it augments the story and it helps to tell what he's trying to get across.
Plus, we're on a deadline, so sometimes
that's awesome.
Sometimes it is what it is.
Jeff's like, just do it. I don't care. We need to get this thing out. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You're working on this now, but Eric's done a ton of stuff. You guys have seen him. We've got one of his more recent works here. You worked for a couple of years on X over at Dark Horse, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it was for Dark Horse. They lately they've really stuck to a lot of your basics, Conan, Buffy properties. The fact that this title ran for so long was really great. Issues. 24 issues is a good run for an independent superhero. Yep. And you worked with Dwayne on that one, I believe.
Oh, yeah. He was another great artist. So when they seem to accept my work, I like him.
Okay, that's good. That's
so
good. You guys have to be compatible, and it seems to work out.
I'm hoping to find I'm hoping that when I do my creator-owned work that I find a writer that accepts the work, and because I'll accept his work as well, and
that's very true.
Work, but and so we have to acknowledge that we're both trying our best. I mean, when I do any book, regardless if it's paid well or paid low, I've went through both, and but in each project, a book, I try my best, and
that's
and some people for some reason think that you're not trying your best, or for some reason, who knows, but every time I am working on a project, it's I put so much time into it. Because I'm
well, your name is attached to this thing.
Yeah, but it's not just that either, though.
When you commit to something,
but it's not just it's me as an artist trying to do the best work I can do and be happy too. I mean, when you do sloppy work, you're just not happy. You go back and you edit yourself. And when I'm sloppy, I find that I go back and I edit myself anyway without someone else telling me to do it.
Okay, so you want it to be as good as it can be.
Yep.
Which is extremely respectable,
yeah.
And I mean, because if it seems like the books that you take are things that really genuinely are interesting to you. You work well with the people that you're part of. I mean, I wish we had time to talk about every one of them because, I mean, you've got stuff that range from X-Men and outside of even Wolverine. Of course, you had Vertigo books. You've worked with Mike Carey. We've got Dwayne here. You've worked with Remender. In fact, that's one I actually want to talk about. Your very first comic book was it Dark Horse or was it Image?
Image.
It was Image. It was Image back before Image was the Image that we know.
Yeah.
In fact,
2005 I think was.
2005.
Oh my goodness.
It's not that long. It's not that long. 2005.
I was young and I could stay up all night to do these pages. Now I can't.
Well, now you've got more commitments outside of the comic books. But it was Strange Girl.
Yep.
And it was written by Rick Remender.
Yep.
and there are 2 volumes available right now. Tell them about it. I'm not sure everybody even knows about this one.
I don't know. You know, it's maybe they won't know or don't know. But Strange Girl it was just a great book because I was allowed to do something where I had no idea what it looks like in the first place. So it's actually something that creatively you just generate out of nothing. When you work for, like, let's say Marvel or DC, they have a look. They have some, you can't do some wackies or too wacky.
Well, yeah, they have
they have editors that hone you in to how certain things may or may not look like and what they will or will not accept. And if you go too crazy, you might not work anymore.
That's fair. Whereas this the world was open.
But it's weird too, because sometimes when you get some crazy artists who do some crazy style, and people like it, it works for them. And so who knows?
But this was your first work, right?
Yeah,
Had you ever done any like comic pages, or did you just jump into this?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I actually got into comics. I was actually an inker first.
Gotcha. So you were very familiar with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I had a buddy who's actually local here, C.P. Smith. You might know him.
Yes.
He was doing Stormwatch at the time, and I was working at a game studio down in San Diego. And at that time, he was also in San Diego working at Wildstorm, doing Stormwatch. And he needed an inker, and I told him I can do it digitally, because that was first for anyone who was doing it digitally anyway.
Okay.
And so for some reason, I did some samples, and they were like, okay, we just got to get it done. And
that was the entrance to the comic book field, which has continued all this way.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
They ended they ended the series, and I got booted, and then
all right.
then But then luckily I was still working full time, and then I started doing my own sample pages and whatnot and everything. Then when Strange Girl came along, I decided to move back to LA and do that full time. Because at the same time, before the first issue of Strange Girl even came out, I sent the first issue to Vertigo, and I got hired to do Salmon Mystery Theater at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was.
So you were doing them concurrently, trying to appease Vertigo.
And at the time, I can do that. I was young. I can do that, and since you were paid with DC, you didn't have to worry about doing a book for free.
Very true. Strange Girl, you were putting your all into it, and you didn't know what was going to happen.
Rick and I were just busting our tails, just doing something, knowing that we're not going to probably get a penny from it. We're just getting our names and our work and trying to get noticed out there.
Well, it evidently worked.
Yeah,
I mean, it worked very well for both of you.
Yeah, because I know Remender blew up like crazy, man. He's doing so many creator-owned stuff now that just I give him, I mean, hat tip to him. He's doing all the right things as far as that creator goes.
Yeah, he keeps plugging away. He keeps going. In fact, that wasn't the only book you worked on with him. You also did Gigantic, which was a 4-issue mini, you guys, with giant robots.
Yeah, giant robots and aliens and stuff, and from Dark Horse.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect for a lot of people who were in. I mean, there's a very limited selection of those type of books in comic books. So if that's your genre, Gigantic is definitely.
It was a fun book, and the covers turned out fantastic. I love doing the covers there. I learned a lot of different things by doing that sort of painted covers that I use these days in my own covers. But
okay,
yeah.
And well, before we let Eric go, he did mention earlier about potential creator-owned stuff that you learned a lot that you could do. Now, he's going to be working on something that's going to be completely a collaborative effort again, which, well, tell us what you can tell us.
Well, I mean, I really can't say anything because we're both developing it right now, and but I want to tell his name. His name is Scott Berman, and he's a great. The reason why he emailed me out of the blue and just asked me if I wanted just to read a script. And just out of the blue, I tend to just read it just for the heck of it, and who knows?
Yeah.
And it turned out that his script are just great. I've been looking for someone who can actually script things that I find funny or enjoyable. I mean, it's I've done this so long where finding scripts that seems a little different. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something.
You can afford to be selective. Yeah. So you this one evidently it's Scott Berman, right?
Yeah, Scott Berman. He had a web series. What's that website? Daily Motion, is it?
Excuse me, I'm not sure.
Was it Daily? Well, he wrote and did a web series that was bought by either Daily Motion or something like that, where Scott Berman, if you look up his name, and it's funny stuff.
We'll find it in Modeling.
It's funny stuff, and I mean, to me, I thought it was funny stuff. I think will be a good fit, because the same sensibility is good to find,
Yes, and I do.
He's not politically correct or anything. And I find that funny when you're not politically correct, and
it's not, not keeping it under the radar.
I talked to him on the phone, and he's a funny guy, and also he's up to date on politics and stuff, which I find refreshing because we can make fun of that stuff.
So there's lots to make fun of.
Yeah.
So then, is the book? Is it going to be a comedy, or is it just comedy sprinkled?
Comedy sprinkled in.
Okay.
So, but we're trying to find the right. He has a few ideas, and I have a few ideas, and we're going to. But I want to work with him. He seems like a great guy, and the way he writes his script is something I'm looking forward to.
That's awesome. Well, he'll have more info as it happens. Where can they find you online?
I am socially.
You're elusive.
I'm still.
But you're on Twitter, right?
I don't have a Facebook, so that's it's great. I don't have a Facebook. I'm on Twitter. It's Eric Nguyen Art. I'm also on Instagram too, so I post every now and then more often on Instagram than anything else.
Is it the same handle?
Same handle.
Same handle. All right, and we'll put links so you guys can just easily click on it.
Yep. But I'm trying to be more, out there. I want to do a little bit more like quick tutorials and stuff as well, and so I just have to get set up for all that. But anyone can email me or anything with questions of art or anything. I love giving my if someone needs help, I have no problem helping or advice or what have you.
What's the email then?
It's on my website,
which is
shadedgray.com.
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 See, I need the links that are going to be below.
And you can ask me on Twitter.
In fact, you guys should hit him up on Instagram and Twitter, and just encourage him to post more pictures of the process.
I try. I see everyone doing it, and it's just you think it's so easy, but it takes that time, and I draw all day, and so last thing I tend to want to do is look at my own picture and post it and do all that stuff.
That's true. You should just do it as you set up. Just a nice little click, and then you're on.
I need to hit the record and just.
Well, that's true, especially if you're going to take it to the next level, and you're going to.
I do
tutorials
anyway.
That would be great, actually.
How to set up a panel and how to take a script to a panel, and what have you.
I think there's plenty of people who would be extremely interested in seeing how that comes, because you'd be surprised how many people come in here and ask me, who is not an artist, how do you lay out the pages and do the other stuff?
And there's so many different ways. I mean, you can do it line, you can do it shapes, you can there's so many different ways, just so that you can creatively find a different way of doing the same sort of script again and again and again. So you have to find different ways to do it.
Well, and as you said, this is one of the things that you take the stuff you do, because these scripts are jumping out at you, and they're really really hitting you. So guys, follow some of the links, check him out, check out Old Man Logan. Come down on Free Comic Book Day, May 6th. As always, we will be open at 9 a.m. We're going to have wrestling. We're going to have cosplayers. We're going to do raffles for Shriners Hospital. It's going to be a great day. There's going to be writers. There's going to be artists. There's going to be wandering boba food trucks. There's going to be so much going on. See you guys on May 6th, and thank you for coming down.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a great one, guys.